Lots of people have sperm. What's so special about yours?
Um, Nothing else than any other man's sperm. I don't really consider myself very special or extra wanted or anything like that. I just had the desire to do something meaningful with my life.
A man who's thought to have fathered over 1,000 kids through sperm donation says he's taking legal action against Netflix for a documentary that he claims sensationalizes his story. Jonathan Meyer from the Netherlands was ordered by a Dutch court to stop donating sperm after fathering well beyond the maximum of 25 children. He's said to have misled parents, clinics, and travelled around the world to continue giving sperm despite a ban. Jonathan Meyer joins me now. Hello, Jonathan. How many children do you believe you fathered?
The exact number is 550.
The 550 that you know about, or you know there aren't any more than that?
That's what I'm 100% sure about. Yeah.
But there could be others added to that number that you're not 100% sure about.
Yeah, that's right. Through clinics like or the clinic Cryos, they don't give out any information about the amount of pregnancies. So I stick to 550 because that's the only number that I'm 100% sure of.
And what is your complaint then, fundamentally, with the Netflix documentary and what they said about you?
Yeah, it's a good question. Basically, what they do is they interfere with the natural process of the donor children to get to know their donor father, their biological father, at their own demands, at their own, the desire that they have in their lives. This can mean that they will never ever want to know anything about me. They have that freedom. But it can also mean that they want to know anything about me at an age where they feel this desire. So they can
Sure.
be like 12, 20, 40. The complaint is that Netflix took this away from them, the right to know their biological father at the stage in their life
The
as
right.
they prefer. And yeah, they now force it in their face. And also for
Sure.
the recipients, they also force it in their face. And of course, I file a complaint, or like my complaint is, of course, that they say very bad things about me that are untrue, and yeah.
Yeah,
So
no, I
that's
understand. Look, whether it is 550 children or 1,000 children, it's considerably more than 25 that is the legal limit. Why? Why did you feel that the legal limit should not apply?
well, actually, of course, 550 is worldwide. So this means I helped a lot of Germany, in Italy, in France, and many other countries across the world. So it's not exactly 550 in the Netherlands alone. Besides that, we have this 25 number maximum in the Netherlands, and it's based on only known donors. So, for example, parents that have their donor via a clinic. But I'm, of course, a known donor plus. So this means that there's way more information available. In that regard, any concern of inbreeding or children meeting up and not knowing about being connected is extremely low.
Why, why,
Besides,
why is it extremely low?
because, for example, well, let's take an example. There's two children, and they're brought up with because I'm a known donor plus means that I'm open identity from the moment basically that they can, yeah, talk and
So I'm sorry, Jonathan. Just to be clear here, you just said that the problem with what the Netflix did was this forced people to know who might not wish to know, and yet you're also saying that everyone does know, so it's not a problem. I don't think you can have both of those things.
no, sorry, you don't. Maybe you don't understand well enough. Of course, the parents have the right to tell the children about, or the child has to ask when it wants to ask. But the parents are informed about my identity. So, for example, if the parents have a concern about certain child that there's for example, in the same playground, the parents can easily ask the other parents, like, "Hey, is your child?" For example, two women are confronted by two other women with a child, and they're like, might this be a child of Jonathan? They can easily approach and just ask, "Hey, are you? is your child donor conceived? And if yes, is your donor Jonathan from The Hague? The stork from The Hague is my name. So,
Yeah, well, I mean, but
but
I mean that places, I guess, an onus on them that a government limit of 25 is intended to remove. Why did you do this? Why were you so prolific? What do you feel is special about your sperm? Because I mean, it's not a lots of people have sperm. What's so special about yours?
um, nothing else than any other man's sperm. I don't really consider myself very special or extra wanted or anything like that. I just had the desire to do something meaningful with my life, and being a sperm donor, seeing that the amounts of the enormous demand of donors, it's still up until this day, made me realize, well, I can do really something useful with my life, and yeah, fulfill people's dreams, and that in itself is a very wonderful, thing to be useful for other people. It's really a amazing thing.
Can you understand the idea that if one believes that one has a maximum, or I mean a low number of siblings in the world, let alone in one country in the world, under I mean even 25 is quite a lot, but under 25, to discover that you have certainly upward of 500 siblings, may have over 1,000 siblings. Some claim say more than 1,000 siblings. This can be, even before we get to the health risks, this can be psychologically damaging. I mean, extremely impactful thing to learn about yourself. Would you yourself like to be one of 500 siblings?
Well, let me explain. I wasn't actually finished with my story. Like, for example, in the UK, the max is 10 families, but it only means in the UK. So, for example, you and your wife want to have a baby, you go to a official clinic in the UK. You order a vial, for example, Cryos. But Cryos is sending for 10 families to the UK.
Mm-hmm.
But your donor of your child will be shipped around the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
This means that every country, the same donor will be used until the limit is reached.
Yeah.
So you can count all the countries on the world. Well, some countries will not really have this demand, but it is that is the excruciating thing about the Netflix documentary. They portray me as something, and the amount of children that I've helped, as something very unique or special, or maybe not special or unique, but maybe more like not the norm. But this is the norm.
They're portraying you as a narcissist. They're portraying you as somebody who wished to spread their seed around the world in a way that was advantageous for you and your
Yeah,
ego,
but
and
okay,
not
sorry, but
advantageous for other people.
yeah,
This is
sorry to
this is
interrupt
the
you, but
betrayal.
yeah, but do you understand what I say?
Well, yes,
Did you understand what I say? That I'm not special. That the amount of children that I've helped create these families is nothing unique. People in the UK and all around the world should realize that 550 is basically common practice for any donor.
so
So,
you would say that many donors have fathered as many children as you have. It's
oh
just
yeah,
happened through
definitely.
through, through
If
different
look,
routes.
I'm only interesting because I'm also a known donor plus, so it makes my story more interesting to make a movie about. But for like I say, there's people in the UK that used. There's hundreds of or thousands of people that used donors from cryos, and they unknowingly have hundreds of siblings, have siblings for the children. Any country that uses big clinics or like, and there's many other European sperm bank, it's common practice. So it's very, it's so confusing why this is even if you talk about the number wise. Of
How many?
course, if you talk about had I informed people, did I have the need to inform people? Yes
Yeah.
or no? Okay, that's another debate. But the numbers are not anything for debate. And I can also, last thing, and then I'll finish. In the United States, the guideline is 10,000 children per donor. It's an official American Society for Reproductive Medicine has stated that that's their official number. So from that part, I don't understand why I am being picked, why I am being shown as a narcissist or anything, whilst I'm doing what every clinic in any country is doing. and it is helping people with fulfill their wish. And let me say it clear: I love what the clinics are doing. They do very good job helping, uh, because they're most of the times the
Hmm.
only thing that people can use to have a family.
How many children do you think you have in the Netherlands?
Um, oh, I don't. I look. That's also for me. People are so focused on the number.
But the
Like,
number,
give
the
me a
number is what
number.
the number is what it's all about. Because if the number is a high
Oh
number,
no,
there is a
no.
chance of these
Oh,
people
I
meeting
don't
each
like
other and
that.
not knowing.
Sorry, sorry. I really don't like. They're children. They're unique human beings. They're spirits. They're souls. They're not numbers. They're not like a clone from each other. They're unique. And for me, it's
But
not important. Like, oh, there are 205 or 207 in the Netherlands. It's just
but if but
it's this
the
is what
higher
I mean.
the
This is harmful for children. If they were you're in a number, you're part of a number. Your father's a narcissist because he was focused on numbers. Whilst I have never said any time that I am
do you
focused on
think
numbers,
but
it's not important
do
to
you
me.
think it's also harmful for children of people who have been children, which is all people, to grow up and fall in love and have children with somebody and then find out they're half siblings? You know, this is a dramatic, damaging thing to learn. If you're talking about if you're talking, I mean, the Netherlands is a relatively small country. If you're talking about hundreds of people, the chance of these people meeting each other without knowing that they are related, almost as closely as two human beings can be related, and then having potentially not only the damaging biological consequences of them having children with each other, but the social stigma of then discovering that they're half siblings. Does none of this factor into your thinking?
Well, let me. You are now sort of criticizing me for what I that I helped a lot of people, but this goes for any donor. Any donor that has helped. Of course, the donor children will have this moment where they have to ask any partner, even if I helped for 5 children, they would always have to ask this. This is common part of donorship. This is what I'm starting the court case for, because there's
Mm-hmm.
so many like ignorant ideas and thoughts like, oh, he's a donor, he helped more times. Oh, they must fall in love. Of course not. Um, the children are aware that their donor conceived. So they bring with them, just like adopted children, somewhere in my life, I have to check if my partner is also donor conceived. They can do this with a simple question because I'm a known donor plus, so they can easily ask. But they can also do a cheap DNA test. I am on myancestry.com. I am on 23andme.com.
But this is I'm sorry, but this is something people would be doing, like not in the early stages of a relationship. This is something people would be doing in the
Yeah,
very
but
developed
sure,
sense
please.
stage of a
This is
relationship.
this is this is part for any donor. It has nothing to do specific with
No,
me.
I'm sorry, Jonathan. I feel like I'm failing to connect here. If there is a limit in the country that sets the limit at 25 donors within a country, that is a limit that is designed to place limits on the chance of people ending up in these situations. You made a decision that will put more people in this situation. And I accept that you did it for altruistic reasons. You say you were helping people. You must accept this is going to put more people in a situation that the
How
government was
how how is yeah? But sorry,
worried enough to set a limit.
sorry.
Yeah.
How is it different when there's like, okay, I help 5 or 10 people?
Yes.
They always have to check. It doesn't matter how many siblings there are. They have to check.
They have to
They will
check.
do it also.
They have to check, but they're considerably less likely to, after checking, find out something that is going to ruin their lives.
How is that ruining their lives? If they would, for example, if they
I,
have, if they will meet somebody that's related, how is it ruining their lives? That's a bit harsh to say, don't you think? That's
do you think if they find out they're about to have children or they've had children with somebody who is their half sibling, that might not ruin their lives?
I think you don't understand that the parents inform their children very well. They're very smart people. They instruct their children from a young age. Anytime you meet somebody, this is and you want to get close
Mm-hmm.
or you want to have an relation, you just check this. It's just one simple question, and the other can answer that question yes or no. That's the great thing of the open identity and the openness about donorships now, or of donors. Of course, this was a big problem in the past when donors were anonymous because nobody could even know if they were donor conceived. Most of the times, parents didn't inform their children very well. There were no cheap DNA tests. And of course, it's inconvenient. I agree. It's not ideal. But if you compare having a life and
I
a
mean,
future.
but there is other sperm. There are other sperm donors. I mean,
Oh, how many do you think there are at Cryos for
you
the
feel
whole world?
you feel. I mean, so this leads me on to my next question. Do you think there is a moral imperative for men to share their sperm, make their sperm available more widely than in a traditional family structure? Do you think that is something that a man has a moral obligation to do?
What do you mean?
I mean, do you feel that you had a duty to share your sperm to people who might need it, and other men should feel the same duty?
No, not really. I was only the only one that cared because yeah, the shortage is enormous, of course, and the government isn't really working to do any campaigns to promote men to become a donor. The media isn't very doing a very good job at representing donors as like a good noble thing. It's the first thing they come up with a Netflix film. The clinics itself, they try their best to do what they can do, but the regulations are just horrific. In Europe, especially, they keep the amount of children so low. For example, in the Netherlands, it's 25 children per 17 million. In the United States, it's 25 per 800,000. So you can see clearly that the rules are way too strict in Europe, and that's why people. That's why I could help so many people because the demand is enormous. And I have never had this idea of helping a lot of people, but I got so many requests, and people were so happy with my help that I was like, nobody else is helping these people. I
Did
can be the one that helped them.
Before I let you go, did everybody you helped, everybody you donated to, know the extent of your donations? Know how many other people you donated to? Because the Netflix documentary suggests that that didn't happen. People thought you had donated to fewer people, and now they find out you had donated to hundreds, if not thousands, of people.
Yeah. What was what was the
Did
question? Sorry.
everybody know how widely you had donated? When a couple chose to use your sperm to conceive, did they all know that there could be hundreds, if not more, of other children out there created with the same sperm? Did they all know this?
No, they don't. They don't all. They didn't all know that.
Do you regret that they didn't know this?
No,
Why not?
because it's basically, and this sounds very rational, but clinics are also not informing the recipients about the amount of times they use the donor. So if you will go again to Cryos and you will ask them, "Hey, how many times is my donor being used?" They will not hand out any information. And when I started, I was totally open about it, but I noticed that my openness became vulnerability because people start to want to control you. They say, "Well, you can help us, but then you must stop. And if you don't stop, we'll go to Netflix, or we'll go to a
Mm-hmm.
newspaper, or you cannot help people from
I
Muslim
mean,
people."
these are well, apart from the latter, which is another matter. These are the normal. I mean, this might sound like a strange sentence, but these are the normal demands people place on people when they're using their sperm to have children.
No, no, no.
A couple, a wife might say to her husband, "I don't particularly wish you to use your sperm to father many other children other than our children." You can understand why people wish their children to be distinct. No,
Yeah, oh, oh, totally. I can understand that people want the most exclusivity from a donor. That's a human desire, but it's not the situation where we're in. There's not enough donors. There's more people that don't care about numbers that much. They say, "Well, we are happy to have you, and you can donate as much as you want. We don't care." So, I'm not only for this handful of people that went to the Netflix film. Why should I? Like,
well,
there's like hundreds of people that really were happy with my help, and
well,
um,
let's end on the Netflix film then. Look, the contention, as I understand it, your contention is the Netflix film found a small handful of people who were deeply unhappy with the situation that they'd end up in, that had become clear, who felt very much violated by the situation. Your contention is they were unrepresentative of the many, many people who took your sperm.
well, of the people in the Netflix documentary, just to show how empty and hollow their accusations are. Three of them that are in the film had another baby, a second baby, whilst they knew about the number. So three out of the six people that took part in that film had another baby with my help, with my sperm. So you can clearly see that even the most aggressive and like upfront people still didn't really care about this
Well,
this
maybe they
troubled cause.
just cared more about having children who were siblings. It doesn't mean they didn't care at all. What would you like Netflix to do? What is the point of your appeal against them? What is the outcome you're hoping for?
Well, we first for now we have like put out an invitation to talk with Netflix. We are very positive that that what we are demanding will that they will be open to listen to us and to see like, yeah, this was a mistake. We failed in this regard to help donor children and recipients and donors in their emancipation, because it's a struggle to emancipate for ourselves. And we're very positive that they will listen to us and will. I cannot go in too much detail in our like strategy, but that's the first thing that we want to. We're not here to we're not making directly a war. We're just thinking. Well, I am assuming that they were not really aware of the damage they could have done with this film.
Jonathan Mayer, thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome. It was nice talking to you.
And you.